Hey everybody, we're looking at number 8 from the L31, and at first it doesn't seem like it's going to be that bad, but then when you get into it, the numbers get kind of big, so I thought I'd just help you through it. It says a rectangular prism has a volume of 45 and 9/32 cubic inches. Its length is 4.5 inches, and its width is 2 7/8 inches. What is the height of the rectangular prism? So the first step is to recognize that we really need to use this formula of volume equals length times width times height. So we know the volume. And how do we know the volume? Because they're telling us here. It says volume of, and it's this number right here. So this number gets substituted underneath the V. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger. All right, so we have volume equals, and then it says the length is 4.5, so that gets substituted underneath the L. And its width is 2 7/8, so that gets substituted underneath the W. And we're trying to find the height. We don't know that. So we'll bring down the letter H. All right, now the next step is to turn everything into improper fractions. So let's start with this number. Now, if you have a calculator, that certainly makes it a lot easier. We're going to be multiplying the 32 times 45 first, and then we're going to add in the number 9. But I like to just go ahead and put in my denominators, just so I don't make a mistake. So we're dealing with something 32nds on that one. We're dealing with something halves here. We're dealing with something eighths here. And then, of course, we have the H. All right, so let's take the calculator back out, and we'll figure out first this. We're going to do 32 times 45 and then add in the 9. 32 times 45 equals, and then we add in the 9, which really, quite frankly, you should be able to have that in your head. But we get this number. We get 1,449. 1,449. All right, now really, quite frankly, you shouldn't need a calculator to do this. This times this is 8, plus the one more is 9. And this times this is 16. And if we add 16 plus 7, now if you get intimidated with the renaming, then just take out a calculator and do it that way. There's no shame in that if you're not good with that mental, renaming. So we get the 223. All right, so the next step, we have to simplify this. And I don't really see any reducing opportunities, so we would take out the calculator once again, and we'd have to find the product of the two numerators and the product of the two denominators. So let's do that. 9 times 23, and we end up getting 207 as our numerator. So let's write that down. 207 over, and the denominator we can do in our head, 2 times 8, no problem to do that in our head, that's 16. And let's bring down the H. Let's bring down the equal sign. And we're going to copy this number carefully again. So that number is 1,449 divided by 32. All right, so now let's think back to when we studied algebra. When you have a fraction coefficient, which we do, then you want to apply the inverse operation. And what's the opposite of this? It's to multiply by its reciprocal. So let's multiply both sides by the reciprocal of this number. And why are we choosing this instead of this to use the reciprocal of? It's because it's next to the variable. You always want to ask yourself, what's happening to the variable and what's the opposite of that? So the opposite of multiplying by this is to divide, which is the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're going to put the reciprocal of the coefficient on both sides of this equation. So I'm going to put it over here as well. All right, so a couple reminders about fraction problem solving and equation solving. This cancels out, right? If we divide by 207 and divide by 207, we get 1 going both ways there. And likewise here, the 16 simplify. Now, really, we don't have to go through this business of crossing all this stuff out, because what are you supposed to know? You're supposed to know anytime you multiply a number and its reciprocal, it equals 1. And anytime you multiply 1 with anything, it equals whatever the anything is. So in this case, it's H. So let's just bring down the H. All right, now over here, we have some awfully big numbers. Now you may realize that 16 actually goes into 32. So that's a nice thing for you to, mentally recognize that. But if you weren't sure, then you could take out your calculator and do 32 divided by 16 just to be sure that it goes in. It does go in. It goes in twice, right? So if we divide by 16 here, we get 1. And if we divide this by 16, we get 2. Now you may be wondering, well, gee, does 207 go into 1,449? You can find out. We can go ahead and divide and see if it does. But this is just, I'm just exploring the idea of simplifying right now. See, it goes in 7 times. So if we, let me just do that again to make sure. So 1,449 divided by 207, it does go in, it goes in 7 times. So if we divide by 207, we get 1. And if we divide by 207, we get this number, right? So what do we have left to do now? 1 times 7 is 7. So that's taking this number and multiplying it by this number, and we got this. And then the denominator is going to be 1 times 2. So the only thing left you have to do is to take the 7 and divide it by 2 and see which one of these mixed numbers do you get as an answer. Now, just another little thing I want to remind you about. If you failed to realize that 207 goes into both of these and you just went ahead and you multiplied 16 times this black number and 207 times 32, and you got these gigantic numbers and divided it out, you would still get the right answer. You would just get ugly numbers that are not what I call very user-friendly. So when you simplify, you end up getting those nice user-friendly numbers, which is always a good idea whenever you can. All right, so good luck finishing up this computation. We'll give you one of the right answers.